Hello, everyone. My name is Gerald. I'm Tarot Stash, and welcome to Creativity Conversations, Episode 3, Journaling. It's Episode 3, and I am joined by the amazing Medium Betsy Palmer. Hi, Betsy.
Aloha.
And the wonderful Jaime, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. Hi, Jaime.
Hi.
And we are also joined by, the best chatters, the best lurkers, the work lurkers, and the future lurkers.
And Tarot Stash, Gerald.
And the host with the most.
Oh, I started with me.
Oh, well, we're finishing with you.
Okay. Well, I'm Tarot Stash. There you go. And so I'm very happy about these conversations, the creativity conversations. I think creativity is something that is extremely important in this time in our lives. Everyone has different experiences with creativity.
Ain't
And
no
these
lie.
conversations are different aspects of that. So, and as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. And how are the two of you? Anything you want to say? What do you have to drink?
Lemon zinger. I'm doing well, and I'm really glad to be here and so happy to see you both and everybody in chat.
Yes. Feelings mutual.
I have cookie wookie with sweet cream.
Oh.
I have iced coffee with whole milk.
Yeah. There you go.
So we're all okay.
I am almost completely decaffeinated, guys. I know, blasphemous. But
No, congratulations.
For you.
nonetheless, it's kind of working right now.
That's
if I could
good.
do it, Betsy, I would do it. I probably would be in prison if you guys took my caffeine from me right now. With as mean as people are right now, I yeah, no.
Yeah.
We did it.
So more power to you. I seriously, and I don't mean that as sarcasm.
It's interesting. I feel that way about vegetarianism. I wish I could go veg.
Oh, yeah, I could do that pretty easy. We do it most of the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maru is here. Joanne Miranda. Jane the Seeker, who's taking a nap. So nap lurking.
Jane, wake up, boo-boo.
Joanne said they're having snow today in Southwest Ontario.
Goodness.
So Nancy of Crohn's Intuition has joined us, as Amanda Carroll, Pamela Batchelor, and Rossi Free Spirit.
Wow.
Linda Kelzer. So what I'm curious about is how many of you actually journal in the chat? How many of you journal? Yeah. Okay. Are you in the chat, Jaime?
Well, I will be chatting.
There you go. And Donna, Artist and Oracle, is housework lurking.
Nice.
Garnet is here, Hershey, and all right.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
So Joanne has a pizza dough on the go for dinner tonight.
Yum.
And Maru, thanks for posting all the links. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, okay. Pamela journals a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee said feels too much like homework. Journal. Hershey journals. So, and for Paige or Few, Hershey does not date nor number, but I journal all different ways. Yes. Mostly a dream journal, Donna. Free Spirit says since I was 13.
Yep.
Very nice. And Nancy's going into lurking mode. Garnet writes in the daily diary or daily dairy. So
I used to sit in the Darien Journal, so I get it.
Rossi said, looks like Spirit wants me to journal. Third video today about writing.
Oh, that's funny. Isn't that the way it works, though?
Hint, hint, hint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Start journaling.
Mhm.
Debbie Aquarius Owl is here. Linda Kelser said sometimes, but determined to do it more regularly. Amanda said, I have journaled, especially when traveling, but I've got a notebook. Need new one.
I just sat here while you were going through the things.
Yes.
Multiple failed journals. Yeah, I have those too. I figured out exactly how many I write in. It's more than one. That's
How many journals do you write in?
5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. If it works for you, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. So
Do it.
we're going to ask this. What is journaling? How would you each define journaling? I'm going to start with Betsy.
I would say for me, and this is strictly for myself, I feel that it is a way to share a conversation with yourself, only for yourself, about whatever it is important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely said. Jamie, what is journaling for you?
Well, depending on the planner, it can be. I'm going to encapsulate it, even though I have different journals that I use. It's written vomiting. Get it out rather than keep it in.
I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling is that way to get it out in manifest it so it's not internalized.
Mm-hmm.
It can be externalized. And if I choose, I can go back and I can look at it differently because it's not at the forefront. I can read it as if I'm a third party.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hattie Neff showed up. Same here, Jamie. I have 3 daily journals and 3 ongoing, especially journals. Yes, for all myself and my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And Toki, 323. I got my journal open and about to put an entry in, and your podcast is on my feed. Well, that's cool.
Nice.
That's 5.
Oh, shoot. I didn't include my sketchbook, which is total word therapy. All right, fine.
Cottonwood Heart, hello. And I have my monkey journal for that. Totally understand. So, hi, Jonathan. Said on the drive home. So,
Jonathan, I have to make a joke about this because somebody recently told me you can buy a coffin at Costco. So I feel like that's the running joke. If you need me, thank you, but no, because I'm leaving on Friday, so I'm going on vacay. So thank you though.
Joanne says I keep the craft journal. For me, journaling is definitely it's that word vomit, and as I said, it's getting it out here so that it can not grow and exaggerate, because sometimes I exaggerate and things just go ooh, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's a bitching journal and a gratitude journal will be my first 2. So, and by the way, there's no returns on the coffin.
True. There is no returns on the coffin.
Yes. So here's another question. Is why journal? Why?
Why not?
Yes.
So I'll go. For personal reasons, word vomit reasons, magical reasons, and self-awareness and gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for me, there was a period during the pandemic, in 2020 where I started writing every day for a certain amount of time. And I went on for over a year, every single day, which was great. And it was nice to see what I thought about and what I thought about different things. And but I got to go back to that idea. I got to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Have to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I used to. I'm going to answer. Does anyone else buy journals that are too good to be used? I used to, but I learned something. And I'm not saying this is not directed at you, Jonathan. It's just in general for me. I learned something when dealing with multiple important deaths. Sounds negative, but it's not. I've learned that if you have something that's so precious that you can't use it on the daily, you should get rid of it.
Yep.
Because what's the point of having it? Because you can't take it with you when, you know what I mean? So if it's so precious, I make a big deal out of it and I fucking use it.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. And yeah.
I don't buy any journals that are too good. This is mine that I'm using right now, just the little flimsy thing, because I tend to not keep them. Because when I go back and reread them, I have a very Bridget Jones moment where I say to myself, I don't remember writing this. I don't remember feeling like this, but everybody knows diaries are just crap.
Mm-hmm.
Because my journals tend to be kind of like confessional diary kind of things as a portion of what's going on. But I agree, it's about getting the twirl out of your head. Yeah. For me, it's, as an anxiety queen, it's all twirling around in there.
Right.
And just moving it from there into a place on a page frees up so much space to be something else for me.
Do you burn it?
I'm sorry?
Do you burn it?
I have burned a lot in my day, but oftentimes I now just take the whole thing and chuck it.
Okay, so I have a suggestion for you.
Ooh, okay.
Burn it. Because this is a fabulous pastime for people at landfills, because those bags break open and they see a book and they pull it out and they read.
Well, I feel the same way about the FBI agents that are following me. If this is really what they're getting paid to do, I feel sorry for them. I am really ordinary.
No, I was floored.
So ordinary. Hey, if you can sit through this, I commend you. Because I can't.
Yeah.
It's like, when I start talking about aliens and coming from Mintaka and living in a water world and then getting visited by spirits and demons and shit. Yeah, okay. Have at it, pal.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just made me laugh. I'm like, can you just see them sitting on the tractor or the bulldozer, sitting on the bucket, kind of swinging their feet, just flipping the pages and then tossing it into the landfill and going to the next one? It
would have been a lot more entertaining. There was a lot more dirty details in my 30s. It was probably a little closer to Anais Nin than some kind of winged creature from another realm.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, just to get caught up in some of the chat, it's Debbie mentioned morning pages.
Mm-hmm.
Morning pages. I first heard about morning pages when I did the book The Artist Way. This is my original copy. You can see all of the tabs, all of the stuff. I actually started this book on August 10th of 1995. I have been through this book 4 times, and I've taught classes with it twice. Morning Pages, by the definition, from, oh, by the way, this is by Julia Cameron.
Mhm.
And Morning Pages, put simply, the Morning Pages are 3 pages of longhand writing, strictly stream of consciousness. That's it.
Mhm.
And if you want a way to start journaling, 3 hands or 3 pages longhand, stream of consciousness. So
Nice.
Pamela said, it's my inner correspondence with myself and my life lessons.
Nice. Nicely said.
My whiteboard has a note that says Comp Books 10. Hi, my name is Gerald Tarostash. I am a person who collects composition books. I probably have enough to stack flat to be mean twice, because I buy them on sale. So had enough said, here today trying to get over my fear of journaling.
Nice.
That's something to journal about. What's your fear of journaling? And yeah, but I get that.
So I have a quote for you.
Yes.
Guy de Maupassant said, words dazzle and deceive because they are mimed by the face, but black words on a white page are the soul laid bare.
Goodness.
I like it.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Pamela has the artist way, but hasn't started it. Joanne said, my mom started almost the same time as you did, Gerald. It helped her so much. And I think, it is one of those things that what's interesting, okay, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but screw it. If there is a fear about journaling, okay, start with that. What is the fear? If you're wanting a topic,
right,
do that. But I love the idea of stream of conscious, because trust me, there were days of 3 pages longhand where I hate writing morning pages. I hate writing morning pages. I hate writing morning pages. I mean, 3 pages of it. It was great. It was very, very good. So
okay, question: how old were you guys when you started journaling? I can answer that real fast.
Seriously, journaling, probably sophomore in high school.
I
always had little books and stuff, right? But yeah.
I was probably around the same age. My mom started doing book tours with Shakti Gawain when Shakti was promoting whatever, the manifesting book. What the hell is the name of that? Oh, God, anyway. Yeah, so she started doing this book about manifesting, and my mom really got into it and explained it to me. So I started journaling as a way to write down my requests. And then and I would hate to say this, but it wasn't until like 10 years later that I was introduced to automatic writing, and that became a whole different thing. And I think journaling for me has been one of the major sources for me deepening my relationship with spirit guides since then.
Nice.
Very nice. I would say I was 29 or 30, because that's when I started this book.
You an old man now.
Thank you. Yes, I am. I am a wise man. Wow.
We're like this far apart in age, okay? Just so you know, I'm dissing myself as much as picking on him.
I started out journaling in the 78 Degrees of Wisdom when I was learning. I started journaling also in high school, but those old journal diary style are all gone.
Yeah.
And I actually, me, the books I love reading diaries. Give me a diary of somebody who's writing their stuff, their inner thoughts. I don't feel so weird reading some of that stuff. So
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of conversations you would want to have anyway. At a dinner party, who cares about the weather?
Yes.
That small talk just makes me nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Having a reason to use my fine Sharpies is always tempting.
Right.
I love that. All right. So I need to get over that, Jonathan. It was a stumbling block at that time ago. I don't remember what that was.
Oh, maybe the journal too nice.
Perfect journals.
Oh, the perfect journal. Yeah. And because if you're not using the perfect journal, then it's not the perfect journal.
Mm-hmm.
A perfect journal should say, "Write in me. Welcome. Come on. Put it whatever it is that you went down there."
Yo.
Yeah. Vanessa said, "Hello, everyone. I was eating lunch, lurking. Sometimes I paint journal when words are not enough, so I don't have the words for how I feel." That's great.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of how you can journal. It doesn't matter. Just meeting and show up. So, and all right. Fill me up, Buttercup. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what tools do you need to journal or resources?
And something to write on.
Yeah.
And
Minimal.
something with which to write.
And a pen.
Yeah. And you don't even need to buy it. You can find pens and pencils on the ground.
Yes.
It's very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of composition books, but that's just the way it works for me. And I write on one side. So I love that. Sometimes I get fancy and I write with a fountain pen.
Ooh.
Or I write with a pen that feels special to me because I like for me, journaling can be a very sensual experience. In other words, I want to feel the writing utensil on the page and I want the paper to work well because I have a lot of great pens, but some pens don't work on composition book paper. So
yeah, that is a part of it, isn't it? The way that the pen moves across the page, if it glides or if it yeah. And how it feels in your hand too. I agree. I would agree.
Yeah. There was this idea of I heard about. Have you ever heard of commonplace books? It's this idea of is that you a commonplace book is you have one book and you write everything in it, and so it's a commonplace book. You do that, Betsy?
Pretty much.
I read about that in the series of unfortunate events, the Lemony Snicket, and I absolutely loved it. So that's what I did. I had a commonplace book for everything, work and personal life.
Nice.
So it worked out quite well.
When I'm on the go, I use my notes in my phone to jot stuff down too.
Yep.
I usually carry a little field notebook with me everywhere. It's always in my pocket with a pen attached to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say one thing about the journaling that I would recommend. Yes, you can journal on your phone. You can journal on your computer. The most, I think it's very beneficial to actually do it longhand and to put it on the page. There's something about manifesting it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
when my guides are in a hurry, though, they want me to make a document on a computer thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Sometimes they feel like that's more efficient, I think. and
Mhm.
and I don't make as many editing mistakes. And then there's the joy of autocorrect and spell check and all those things. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So if you want help getting started on journaling, you don't know what to write, and having Gerald say, then write that you don't know what to write, because that's a very good starting point. It is a really good starting point. The Artist Way is a great little book. There's very specific guidelines. There's also Living the Artist Way. There's The Artist Way at Work. I wasn't able to get through that one. Walking in This World, also by Julia Cameron. Hashtag not endorsed by Julia Cameron. Julia, if you would like to come on and do a show with me for Creativity Conversation, let's do it. But also Natalie Goldberg wrote a book called Writing Down the Bones, and it's about the process of starting to write. If you want to write a novel or something like that, this is the second one. It's Thunder and Lightning, Cracking Open the Writer's Craft.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some very good suggestions in that as well.
She has a set of cards too that I have as well. I've had
right.
Writing Down the Bones. I've had forever, the book, and then I saw that she released writing prompts on cards, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, just that whole freestyle, free writing for however long. So,
but that being said, hashtag purchase responsibly, know your limits. You know, we're here to share, not to sell. You need a writing utensil and something upon which to write. That's it.
And if you don't have that, but you have a phone, if it has a voice recorder on it,
true,
you can always come back to it.
Yeah. Hershey said, when they want me to journal, they don't care if I just draw a circle, no matter how bad the writer's block is, as long as I don't leave it blank. Linda said, I have never, ever felt the urge to journal. I had a diary age 10, but stopped writing in it when I found my mother had blacked out sections she didn't like. So I had, I'm sorry that happened. That is never good.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, that's horrible, Linda. I will turn this into a funny for you, though. So I still have, unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, that's rude. I had a stepmother that I called Step Monster that I found was going into my room because I found her cigarette ashes in my desk. And so I started writing the most outlandish things in my journal so that she could read them and tell my dad. It was so much fun.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. But sorry, Linda. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's horrible.
Yeah. So, tools are really easy. I mean, we can overcomplicate it. I've done that. But
you can be journaling at the bus stop waiting for a bus. You can be journaling when somebody is in the bathroom waiting in line to get in the bathroom. You can, there's very few restrictions on it. But I do think privacy is, for me, important because I don't want to be filtering my words in case somebody else is going to be looking at it. I want to be able to write down exactly what I mean.
Well, yes. And actually, Julia Cameron talks about you don't reread these morning pages until you're quite a few weeks into it, because that's not the point.
Right.
So there's a lot of love for what you did, Jamie. And
I was a shit and I couldn't stand her.
Did you get into trouble because you did that? Oh,
she tried. She tried, and I had a very, very, very military dad, a very strict dad, and
So she
Yeah.
outed herself when she brought this to your father's attention.
Yeah, because I said to him, I said, as many issues as you and I have, I'm pretty sure you know who I am and that that's not a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's glorious.
Yeah.
I like that one. So, what are the benefits of journaling? I mean, and by the way, for as many people who are watching, thank you very much. Please do that thing, like and subscribe. But the benefits for me may be different than they are for you, and they're equally as valuable. So don't compare yourself to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because you don't need what I need, and I don't need what you need. So,
well, it's a proven fact. So we always like to say, oh, well, I know so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows so-and-so like so-and-so knows so-and-so. So, and and that's fine. Yeah. I mean, every person's got to do their thing, and it doesn't make, just because I do it differently than Betsy or Betsy does it differently than Gerald. It just means that we have different ways of doing things. That's all.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
well, it is a personal exercise.
Yeah. I have to read Pamela's. I had a friend who would sit in her grandmother's closet when she was mad and pull out the garment hems for revenge. Sorry. That's funny.
And Pamela said, I think at this point is learning and recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, play, love, remember. And Tanis is here. Hello.
Hi, Tanis.
Nancy said, I journaled the process of my mother's transition. Years later, I reread what I had written, and I had forgotten many things that were of great importance to me.
What was our prompt again, Gerald, please?
Our prompt is, what are the benefits of journaling? Journaling really helped me when I was actually actively seeing a therapist, because it maximized the time that we had together, because I wasn't doing the brain drain. I had done that in my journal. So I was like going, this has been a recurring thing the last week. So
I would agree. For me, some of the benefits are reducing anxiety. Again, getting the twirl that just all spinning around, getting things lined out on paper to know, well, there's this situation, that situation, and that situation. Getting things in their in the columns on the page.
Mm-hmm.
That is very helpful for me, but also it is really about understanding myself and growing an awareness and getting answers to questions.
Mm-hmm.
I ask a lot of questions that when I take it out to other people, they don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like today I was journaling and so TMI, women of a certain age have hot flashes. Preceding a hot flash is this sweep of anxiety. And I wanted to know why. So I started asking my guides about it. What is going on? And they said, well, have you looked up any past life or generational DNA around this? What happened to older women back in the day? Oh, thanks. That was helpful. So then I Googled, long history globally of when people got too old, they were seen as a burden. They would just put them on the ice floe and send them away or leave them out in the woods to starve. And I'm like, because all the medical stuff is about how menopause is a difficult transition or stressful transition, and people go into fight, flight, freeze mode.
Mm-hmm.
That to me just didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time when that happens to me is when I'm sitting very quietly and I'm most at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out and about doing stuff. It doesn't happen. So that was, to me, this is as simple as answering a question on any random day that nobody the information I have about it so far really hasn't been helpful. I create a question and the guides just answer it.
Yeah. I did see Annie Bear come in too earlier. One of the things too, I think that's important about journaling is it does not have to be complete sentences. This is, some people have talked about, they draw a circle or they do art or paint or whatever. That works. And sometimes it's phrases, it's words written in random. It's,
punctuation. Who needs to bother with that?
Yes. Yes. So, Jamie, you were holding a journal up.
Oh, I was just leaning on it.
Okay.
But I can tell you what it is, but I was just leaning on it.
What is it?
It's my BMO.
What is a BMO?
Well, if you say it, what are you? You want to be Mo? Be more? So it's a BEMO. It's a BMO journal, and it's about self-awareness. And a lot of people think that self-awareness can be kind of narcissistic, but it's really not. It's being aware of how you think, feel, process, what you feel physically, what you feel mentally, all of that in a moment. And then one of the things about the BMO is that it kind of gives you the permission to dump things, but what is it? Feel and heal with funk, FUNCK. The feelings you need can know. Feeling funky, you can pump it up or bring it down, and you just dump the funk. So you have a place to kind of do a brain dump of the stuff that you don't need to carry with you. And I call it the things to forget page. Right?
Ooh, things to forget.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a fun, it is actually a journal out there that's a kind of a sort of a guided thing that does the feelings wheel and the needs wheel and what you need, what do you feel, that kind of thing. And it works for me just because I'm trying to pay attention to where I'm expending my energy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Debbie Aquarius Sal said, sometimes I will just ask the universe. I usually get an answer.
For sure.
And that goes back to something you were talking about, Betsy. It's a great way to connect with your guides.
Yeah. Automatic writing to me is such a useful tool. And it's one that I recommend to just about anybody that talks about deepening their connection with their spirit guides. It doesn't work for everybody, and it doesn't need to, but I find it so helpful. It's almost feels like an actual conversation. Because sometimes the question I pose, I really have no idea where to begin with an answer. And I will get a prompt to write something down, and like today, and what do you know?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
My first one was an interesting one. It was in a psychic development class when I was in my mid-20s, and we were asked to try automatic writing for the first time. And the people that came through for me were everyone that went down in the Titanic.
Oh my gosh.
The screaming, the yelling.
Oh my gosh.
Writing all this stuff down. And I had no idea what was going on. I was pretty freaked out.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Sorry.
As was the teacher.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Sylvia is here. Hello. Linda Kelzer I call it my ramblings.
Yeah.
And I think when hang on. Very good. Must be important what I have to say, so I have to speak clearly. what can start out as a rambling can be a very important and enlightening conversation, either with yourself or with your future self, your past self, a guide. And I think that's a really powerful thing. Don't discount it. And I would say, don't try not to stop it.
So I tell people all the time, sit down, get yourself in your sweet spot, whatever that connected place feels like, get the whatever instruments before you that work for you, and begin with, is there anything that you would like me to know right now? And it doesn't matter if it's brake pads, sweet potatoes, cozy blanket. It doesn't matter. Just write it down, because what you're doing is demonstrating your willingness to be a part of the conversation. If you filter it and say, that can't be right, this doesn't make sense to me, then this is when logic is coming in. And so no, just don't worry about it. Let them take care of that.
So here's an interesting, based on, what you guys were saying, here's this card that I forgot about. It's in the back of the BMO, and this is from the gal that created the BMO, right? And it talked, when you're talking about what tools do you need, right? You don't need this journal. You don't need anything but a utensil to write with and something to write on, right? But she puts a little note in there. You're here, and that's powerful. Just by taking this step, you're choosing to show up for yourself in a big way. Remember, you have everything in you to create a meaningful change. Right?
That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
I like that. We are making Hattie Nuff think.
Yay.
I can have more than one journal at a time. Good thoughts, ugly thoughts, things I want to do or change. Yes. And Tana said that's the fourth time the Titanic has come forward to me this week. I guess I should think about that a bit more. And Sylvia just scribbles. Can't even read it.
That's okay too.
Yes.
That's groovy.
Yeah.
Hey, the Tyler Henry, right? The kid on TV. That's his whole method. He just and now his clients frame them and hang them up.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a great way to open ourselves up to different things. Because if we're always so caught up in how it always is, it's like reading. Reading can take you to a different place. So can writing.
Well said. Well said.
Well, thank you. So how has journaling benefited you? And I know we've touched on this, and all of you in chat, how has journaling benefited you? So
I'll start with this. So this is my gratitude journal that started the whole glimmer thing. So I started this particular one in 2022. And it's just it's a way to flip the switch in my brain. No self-pity here or sorry's wanted or anything like that, but I deal with constant physical pain on the daily, and sometimes it comes in different forms. And when you start your day, and this is, I'm not even going to quantify it. Anyway, when you start your day with something that is light and positive, it, for me, moves through my body in a way of saying, like, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, okay, I have to start my day. I have to go count to 5 and go, count to 5 and go. Right. This thing has an anxiety strip on the back that's textured. So, which I think is funny. So But yeah, it's just, I usually have like different prompts in here that I fill out manually, just to shift the brain pan from, fuck man, this hurts and I don't want to I've got something to look forward to. I have a positive, I have an everything that I can shift that energy. And it's just really important to me. And I know that some people are unable to do that, and that's fine. Some people say, well, that's just a bunch of, new age mumbo jumbo bullshit. Okay, fine. That's your opinion. For me, making that gear shift helps me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's mumbo jumbo bullshit. I think it's called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Well, I do too. And I know this for a fact. I mean, that's what my mom did with a lot of her clients. But we've talked about this before, that whole toxic positivity thing. Mm-hmm. And I get smacked with that a lot. And I say, and will continue to say, I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about you. If you don't do that or don't want to do that, or you think that's shit, that's for you.
Yeah.
For me, it's important and it works for me because I deal with hardcore depression based on my genetic makeup, based on what I do for a living and the kind of people I deal with and stuff. And so this is a way to process it out and turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would never have interpreted that as toxic positivity. I would, because when I encounter that, it's like that's such a depth of denial. It's like screaming and yelling. I think
they say that what we do is denial.
And I think there's a difference between saying I'm fine and saying, okay, I'm not feeling so good about my weight I'm not feeling so good about my weight right now, but I know when I look at myself in the mirror and stand on the scale that for some people, this is their goal weight that they could only dream of.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To find a balance in there, right? Declining physical capabilities. Yeah, I can swim 2 hours in the ocean though, and there's some people that wish they could do that once in their life.
Yep.
So to balance that out.
Yeah. We've got a couple people have said it's a release for the journaling, how it's benefited. Journaling keeps me sane, grounded, grateful, and in touch with my guides.
Yeah.
Journals are a record of what I've learned in books, classes, practices, and dreams. Tana said, it brings me back to center with 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things I'm proud of myself for.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I do feel like I need to write about all this shit I got going on to get it out of my head and not burden others.
And when you get out of those really hyper fixated feelings, when you walk through it and you can recognize really where you stand and what your long-term goals are, then that's a productive conversation to have with others instead of just doing verbal diarrhea on somebody and expecting them to be your emotional dumpster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sylvia said, journaling benefits me because it shows me that when I am reading the wisdom that comes through, it is spirit, and it reminds me to step out of the way as well as reminds me they are there. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So looking for the lesson in the the blessing in the lesson. Yeah. And I think, journaling for me has definitely, I've benefited from journaling just in the sense of I can't even imagine what I would be like if I did not get all of that stuff out of my head. I would not be on YouTube. I would be so caught up in all of the other things of what's going on, all of the stuff.
Mhm.
What is it? David Allen in Getting Things Done talks about you need a way to capture all of the ideas. A journal is a way to capture all of the ideas. So, hi, Jules, learning to listen. So, does anyone have concerns about what if someone finds the journal and reads it? I've
Nope.
heard this one from clients. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I pretty much, I keep my journals with me when I was actually working. They were on my person at all times because of my commonplace book. So, and then they are hidden. So,
I think it depends on your living situation. I know we talked about that, people having parents breach their privacy and things. So if I was in a situation, let's see, in my very early 20s, I did have some guys in similar age go through my stuff. Creative Visualization, that was the name of the book I was trying to think of earlier, by Shakti Point. I started writing, trying to figure out how to do creative manifesting, and they didn't understand it at all, and I found it absolutely pointless to try to explain it to them. So I just shrugged it off, like, they're not going to understand. So they think I'm weird. I guess, I was less embarrassed about it than I thought I would be, but it was that in that case, that journal was more manifesting than confessional. So,
and I would say, as someone who practices, my craft, one could write a spell to keep people's eyes from the journal and set up all sorts of protections on it. So, and Delphi said, write prayers that come to our heads that works. And that would have been true in much earlier years. I don't write like that at all anymore. So, but yeah. Okay. Here's a question that you have not prepared for.
Great.
If you were to go back in time and give yourself one bit of advice back when you started journaling, what would that be?
Oh, that's easy.
What would that be, Jamie?
Choose yourself.
Say a little bit more about that.
That's as much as I would say about it, but choose yourself. That's what my advice would be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mine would be along the same thread, because I am of the generation that were raised by women that couldn't have a mortgage and a bank account and all that, and that you had to have a match. And my guides showed me, when I was in my late 40s, an easel with a portrait of my then ex-husband now, on that, in the center of a stage with the spotlight on it. And it was a rickety easel, so I was hiding behind it, trying to stay hidden and holding it up. And they said, you will never find yourself until you step out into the light.
Wow. It's important. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. I think a bit of advice that I would give myself when I started journaling is to date everything, date every entry, and don't stop. Just keep doing it. So we have make decisions out of love, not fear. I am enough. And my advice would be Julia Cameron's wise words: Writing writes things. Keep writing. Don't stop. And you got some love there, Betsy. So thank you very much for joining me for this third episode of Creativity Conversations. Any last thoughts about creativity conversations or journaling? Yes, Jamie?
If you want to journal, if you want to get it out, if you want to just create whatever on the page, just do it and don't worry about who might read it, who might see it, because that, I think, just keeps people trapped. That's my personal opinion. It's not digging at somebody or being rude. Just do it and don't worry about it. And if you're worried about it, like if it's something that can't leave you, then write it on the page and burn it or soak it, drown it, whatever.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not worry. I would just go forward and put words to page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Vanessa shared, for me, who am I, was the advice. So, Betsy, any last minute thoughts?
In these crazy times, journaling, and I don't know who exactly said it, but I don't think this is necessarily about me, is journaling is a great way to scream into the void when you're not comfortable screaming out loud.
Yes, ma'am.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yeah.
And my advice would be to simply start.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you go. Here, start. It's okay. All yours. So, yeah. There you go. And it's like, agree, Betsy. My advice: you don't need to write as I someone will read it. Not note to self. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, no, already. Thank you all so much for sharing your insights. I really appreciate you coming together and bringing us together for as well. So thank you. Everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. And please remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Mm.